Hi, everybody. Rick DiClemente. Sorry, I got a little bit late start tonight. Tonight, I've been waiting for one of our guests who's been coming every week, and I hope he'll show up. And I can't explain to you why, other than this chart is really, really intense, and this chart is supposed to be read tonight. That's it. And when you look at the chart, it's very difficult to read. It's one reason I want to read it is because I want you to see what it's like to tackle one that's this hard. Second, I think the chart has a lot of misunderstandings in it. Show you how you can fall in those traps, etc. And I wanted to show you something else here. I mentioned this on my erroneous Facebook where I put the wrong week on the date. But you know, I spend a lot of time with this program called Celeste. Celeste is free. It's from Astrolabe or alabe.com. I spend a lot of time on it because I can look up people very quickly. And most of the time when I'm looking up people, I don't need a birth time unless I'm getting into that personal reading. So I use it a lot. You can ask Liza. I'm looking up everybody from one president to the last president to this crook to this saint. I just look up everybody because that's how you learn. And that's how you learn. And I was telling everybody in the last message to y'all, if you're not learning, you're not going to learn by reading books. You're not going to learn by watching shows. You're not going to learn by Facebook or YouTube. You're going to learn pieces. You're going to learn by doing charts. Lots of charts. And see, we got Rick over there going, that's exactly right. You're going to learn by seeing lots and lots and lots of charts. And by the way, Rick and I have been meeting once a week. He's Rick Kempe. He's a very fine Pittsburgh astrologer. We're just getting to know each other. And we had a really good discussion this past week with Liza and with Rick. And we've agreed to have a show next week with the three of us. It's going to all be about the age of Aquarius. It's going to be about Pluto going into Aquarius next Thursday morning. Next Thursday, Pluto changes signs. I'll say that again. Next Thursday, Pluto changes signs. It goes out of 15 years of Capricorn into Aquarius. And that means it lights up everything in Aquarius, everything in Leo, everything in Taurus, everything in Scorpio. Now, there's a lot to be said. And here comes my partner. Okay, so tonight I've been really focused on doing this one individual's chart. But I know better than to try to argue with the Holy Spirit who has us. This chart is so exceptional. And it's moved its way into number one position. It has to be done tonight. So he's not here. We're not going to do it without him. So out of nowhere comes Jeannie. So Jeannie is my backup. Jeannie, let's get you unmuted. I'm going to, if I see him show, his first name is Sean. If I see Sean show up, I'm going to cut away because that's what I want to do for tonight. And we'll get to you when we get to you. Now, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. And I've been asking for tonight to be a night where we talk about fresh charts, fresh guinea pigs. Now, where are you, Jeannie?
Grass Valley, California.
Where?
Grass Valley, California.
What part of California?
Northern.
Okay. All right. We got some people here from there. The person right next to you on the screen is. Well, welcome. How'd you find out about us?
Becky.
Oh, okay. Dr. Becky. All right. I've got your chart. I'm going to go into it until which time Sean shows up. If he doesn't, we're going to stay focused on yours. It's no coincidence that you've been chosen to have your chart read. It just
Of
happened.
course not.
It happens
not.
because
Yeah.
the big chooser chooses. So let's get a couple questions answered first. What is your sun sign?
Scorpio.
Okay, Scorpio. Well, I have a lack of memory sometimes. Okay, so you're one of those Scorpios. All right. Now, are you married?
Yes.
What sign is he?
Aries.
Okay. Do you work?
No, I'm 78.
Okay. Well, what did you work at most of your life? Just in general, what kind of work did you do?
Oh, I was in libraries for a long time.
Meant to leave and zoom back in. No, I'm okay. Rachel's coming. My computer has been dying the last couple of days, so I have an appointment tomorrow with the Geek Squad. So if it dies, I will switch over to Liza's. And
I was thinking about Becky.
What about Becky?
She's been frozen for a while.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, she
Well,
said she was having trouble. Yeah.
well, yeah, he was right. Just log out and log back in. Now I'm going to do what I can on this session, and we'll do what we can with Jeannie's chart. So you have been in, what did you say?
Libraries.
Library work. Okay. All right. Very good.
But lots of things actually. So
Okay. I like to get this question answered very briefly because it's very important. What sign was your mother?
Sagittarius.
Okay. I want you to listen closely to this. Most people cannot hear this question. When you were with your mother between the ages of 5 and 15, how did you feel?
We got along great.
Okay. I'm not talking about how you got along. I'm not talking about how she was. How did you feel when you were with her?
Safe.
Good. Safe. That's all I need. Same question for your dad.
Also safe.
Okay. Very good. What sign was he?
Uh, September 23rd.
Okay. You had a Libra and a Sagittarian. Okay. Let's go right to your chart then. All right. Sean, we're looking for you. We're waiting for you. We're going to go to Jeannie's chart for now. See what happens. All right. Let me get chart ready. Okay. All right, here's Jeannie's chart. Let me get it back on your screen. All right. Have you had your chart done before?
Couple of times.
Okay, here's your chart. Now, you probably don't know much about the new planet Eris, because many people don't know, but the new planet is right there at the top of your chart. In your lifetime, Eris has gone from 1921. It entered Aries in 1921. It moved 5 degrees until you were born. Let me get this fixed. In 1944. So in 23 years, it only moved 5 degrees. It's still in Aries. It's going to be there 120 years. So Aries is now up around, or Aries is up around about 24 now. And it's really getting involved and causing a lot of chaos. But it's very powerful at the top of your chart. And when Eris is very powerful in your chart, forget the fact that you're already a Scorpio with Sun Mars. This is a very chaotic planet. And what I mean by chaotic is this tells me that you are the type of person to get things done. And even if you have to cause chaos to get it done, you're going to cause chaos. And she's just moved her head away from the camera. Okay. So that tells you that. All right. Now that's not necessarily a Scorpio trait, but it is an Arisian trait. In this age that we're in, we're going to find out sooner or later. Like I've been screaming, we're in an Arisian age now, which is why things are nuts. It's not Pluto, it's Eris, but we're starting to learn. Now, in your chart, planets falling along these 4 angles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Planets falling along there are greatly amplified. You got Eris right opposite Neptune and right opposite Chiron. This is very intriguing. Okay, you have the North Node rising. So you don't really have a lot going on with your ascendant, except you do have the nodal axis. All right. Now, you are a 5th house Scorpio with the sun next to Mars. That's really good that your moon is in Sag and you have Cancer rising. Well, it's usually just a nice combination. When you have a Scorpio person, you need to have something in the chart to make it chill out a little bit, because Scorpios can get really intense. And the moon in Sag is just perfect. It's just perfect for you because Sag allows things to roll off your back. And if Scorpio is anything, nothing's rolling off their back. Okay? They hold on to everything. Okay? And there are good and bad things about the moon in Sag, but largely it's kind of a jolly, happy place for the moon to be, and it rules your emotions. So it's a nice combination. It means to me that you were born just hours after the new moon. So right when you were born, there was a new moon, and several hours later, the moon came out of Scorpio and went into Sag. That's when you were born. That's what that means. Now let's get into this. All right. Now, the fact that it's in the 5th house and is next to the moon and is next to Mercury in Sag, and I got Mercury in Sag, so that's kind of a playful area also. And all 4 of these are opposite Uranus, and Uranus is in Gemini at 11 degrees. This makes you very curious and playful with finding out stuff. I want to know about this. I want to know about this. That's not Scorpio. That's the Gemini Sag in you. I want to try this, I want to try that. That's why you said, what did you do for a living? I've done lots of things. That's the Sag in you talk. Very, very common. Now, it seems interesting to me because you've got 2 axes already. You've got this Scorpio, Sag, Gemini axis, which is one statement. Then you got this Eris, Neptune, Chiron, Jupiter axis, which is another story. So we don't hurry things. That's one of the worst things you could do as a new astrologer. And I do stay focused on what is my job, teaching you to be a better astrologer. That's what this show is about. Okay. You may not want to be, but just put up with it for a little while. You'll still learn things. You've got 2 major axes. I don't know why yet. We'll find out. We're going to keep working at this. Now, when you have a heavy 5th house, I like it even better because it takes the Scorpio out of their dark, secretive cave, and it makes them want to go on stage and have fun and talk and community theater and draw and paint and ride horses. This is what the Sag does. So it helps the Scorpio come out. And that's really what you need. Because what you don't want is a sullen Scorpio. You don't want a sullen Scorpio. You don't want a brooding Scorpio, because that's like watching a boiler get hotter and hotter and waiting for it to explode. All right. Now, we are immediately drawn to the fact that Eris is at the top of the chart. This is super powerful in the sign of Aries. When Eris is up there, and you can read the book called Discovering Eris if you like, because it'll tell you a lot about it. It's on Amazon, Discovering Eris by LaGrace. Legrice. It's an excellent book. And she has only been discovered since 2005, which is about the time that the idiot came online with the presidency. So the idiot coming online and taking over the presidency is very much in sync with the dark side of Eris. And the dark side of Eris is I'll do any damn thing I want to. And that's the dark side of her. And I don't think you got to worry about the dark side of her. I think with you, we got a very positive side. And the positive side of her is I don't care. We're going to make the changes we have. This is what's happening now. I'm exaggerating on purpose. Eris says, I don't care anymore. We're going to satisfy the Indians. We're going to satisfy the blacks. We're going to satisfy the women. We're going to satisfy all the people who've been screwed over and excluded. We're going to include them. I don't care what it takes. That's Eris. The problem with Eris is she's the goddess of discord, and she will do it whatever method she needs to use. You see it all around you. I don't tell you anything about this. It's that simple. Well, she ain't mild in your chart. She's powerful. And when she's powerful in a chart like yours, it means your past life has some really powerful statements in it that we need to explore. Because why'd you put it there? They didn't just fall there. You weren't born with these planets happen to be there. These planets are energetic expressions of who you were and who you wanted to be and be tested as in this life. You follow me?
Yes.
Okay, very good. If you don't, and I'm going too fast, please stop me. And I'll take my time to rewind and go back because I got a motor mouth. And when I get going, it just goes. Leslie, don't you say nothing. Leslie and I are old friends, and she knows all about the motor mouth. She's got it zipped. And that's the way we're going to have that. Okay. All right. So we know that you're a very passionate sign, Scorpio. There are two signs in the zodiac that are maniacs about causes, all that Sag in you, and that Eris up there, along with Aquarius. So your chart is very cause-oriented, flying the flag for somebody, okay? You're not going to sit by idly. And I think this is a phenomenal occurrence tonight that you have preempted another person who was going to be read for, just the way it happened, because you're ready for it. And what you're ready for is Pluto changing signs. So I know without a doubt, I haven't even looked, what's going on in your chart is happening at the first degree of Aquarius. Okay? That's what's going on. We know that that is the degree that's exploding next week for the whole Earth. So we're going to look in your chart because you've been feeling this thing about to explode, and it is. There's nothing to be afraid of. It is a little chaotic, etc., but it's nothing you can't handle. And it's really your power is arriving. You've been waiting for a long time. Just like Leslie below you. I've been working with her for 40 years. And Leslie has been waiting for her power to arrive in a different way. And all of a sudden, yesterday, she says, Rick, I think the time's up. I think I can't wait anymore. I wasn't surprised at all. Same story, same planet. So let's stop and ask Jeannie, does this make sense to you? I don't care what your age is. Does this make sense to you that you feel you're in a time? It's almost like, when I astrologically see this, it's almost like your first half of your life is over. And I don't go by numbers. I'm talking about a bunch of stuff you had to do. And now you're ready to do that. Now you're ready to do your stuff.
Exactly.
Would you please give me please enter and sign in, please. Explain to me in your words what you're hearing.
What What?
How is this manifesting for you?
I feel like I'm on a precipice.
And define it for me.
I've been stuck and
Uh-uh.
I'm trying to get unstuck.
Have you have not been watching my show for 2 months. Have you
No.
been stuck or have you been holding on?
Maybe both.
Have you been stuck or does it seem like you've been stuck?
Maybe it seems like it.
Have you been stuck or do you feel like you haven't been quite ready? And now you're getting ready and it's exciting.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
that's what's going on. Unless you're between two big rocks, then you are stuck. All right, your chart is ready. It's the way God chooses who gets readings and who's next. I don't understand the dynamics. I just start reading. Okay. I guarantee it's not because you've been stuck. I guarantee it's because you just haven't been exactly ready. And all these years, you have not been wasting your time. You've been getting ready.
No.
And
Yeah.
now all the little duckies are lining up and you're getting ready. And I'm telling all of you to zoom back. This is a big deal. And watch the news next week. Look at what's happening in the skies over Europe and China getting stirred up and people wanting to bring the U.S. down and Korea and Russia, etc. This is no happenstance. Things are going to get unstuck in a lot of ways, which is why I'm looking forward to having Rick and Liza with me next Thursday talking about this. It's a big, big subject. All right, let's dig into your chart. One of the reasons I'm going to tell you right away, one of the reasons that she's been stuck is she's sitting on a powder keg. She's scared of it. And anybody in the world would be. She is sitting on a big powder keg. And growing up, she thought it was this person. She thought it was mom and dad. She thought it was this situation. It had nothing to do with them. She was just sitting on this thing. I don't know why. She was where she needed to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
How do you explain this powder keg that you've been sitting upon for so long?
I've just been always aware that something was there that I couldn't quite get to.
Very good. Very good. Very, very good answer. Because you're ready to deal with that now. Claudia, listen to me closely. You're ready for this now. This is very good. Okay. Did you see how I even set the show up to be guided towards another person and she still came in? We think we're in control. When you're dealing with your clients, whether it's Diane with her psych clients and stuff, there's only one thing to tell all your clients. You can't control anything. Stop it. Stop trying to control it. Boy, good luck with the Virgos. Stop trying to control stuff. All of you have heard the stories. All of you. It just happened. How did it happen? I don't know. It just happened. There's your answer. Okay, back to the chart. Linda, where's my girlfriend? Where is she? Where's your cat? She can't hear me. She can't hear me and I can't hear you, so it's okay.
She's right here.
Well, I'm waiting for her to get on the back of the couch. All right.
Oh, she's chilling. She was up there earlier.
Here we go. No. Now there's a lot to this chart. You'll have to excuse me on the North Node because I'm not a nodal person. I'm not going to go into a long story about it. You may get it from another astrologer, but you have the North Node right there and the South Node right there. And I am not a nodal person, nor am I qualified to speak about it. So I won't. Now, Neptune at the bottom of your chart. Neptune is really interesting now. You've got this kind of playful, but yet powerful center you're not sure what to do with. And Neptune is sitting next to Chiron opposite this Eris. So you have come into this life realizing how powerful you are, but you put Neptune at the bottom. And Neptune is a holy planet. It's the Christ planet. And it's saying, thank God you put this planet there. If you didn't have his planet there, you would be much more likely to have intermittent explosions. But with Neptune there, you're very, very conscious. I don't want to hurt anybody. There's a big deal in your chart. I just don't want to hurt. Matter of fact, with Scorpio, I'm not going to. And with Scorpio, it really comes down to a couple of little tiny sentences. I will never betray somebody, and I don't want you to ever betray me. Period. See, well, Claudia knows this. When you write the book and you get down to the core of each sign, you get the word. The word comes to you just like Groucho Marx, and the word is betrayal with Scorpio. And don't ever betray one because they'll cut your throat.
That's right.
Or they'll want to. And they'll talk real hard about get that person away from me because I'm going to. That's how bad they feel when you betray them because they're based so much on being dedicated to you. Well, my dear, as we said in the book, other signs cannot stand the heat in your kitchen. They just can't do it. I don't care what you're doing in the kitchen, how many fans you got on. People can't stand the heat in a Scorpio's kitchen. It's just too hot. So that should help some. Anyhow, people will bring me their Scorpio children, 2, 3 years old, and ask me what to do, how to deal, what's the best way. And I just tell them, there's not really a lot you can do with your Scorpio child except to teach them right from wrong and to teach them that their words can hurt and they really can hurt other people, and to become aware of that, how they don't want to do that because they don't want it to happen to them, and then let them go because they're on their own. If you're in this lifetime as a Scorpio, you're on your own, buddy, because your intensity is so strong. Okay, now, coming back to the chart, we keep getting interrupted, but we can't get a real balanced reading yet because we're getting such powerful messages here. This is like the big neon light, the big fluorescent tube that's going up and down your chart, and it's going, it's just throbbing with so much power that these other planets are saying, well, I got something to say too, and we're trying to hear what they say, but this is just so strong. Okay, now, where's Pluto right now? Pluto right now is right here. It's crossing from 30 degrees of, that's crossing from 30 degrees or 29 degrees of Capricorn into 0 of, I'm sorry, it's right here. It's between Capricorn and Aquarius. It's crossing from one end to the other. And it's starting to activate this natal Pluto. It's going to be at 0. Yours is at 10. And it's not hitting anything else. So that's good. But it is really lighting up in your 7th house. Now, what that means in your 7th house is this, because it's facing across from the 1st house Pluto. When it's in the 7th house and it's really active, it means in a lot of ways I've had it with people. I have had it with people. Now you see that is made worse by the fact that you've been sitting on it for so long with that Neptune. Oh, don't say nothing. Oh, shh, shh. Oh, push it down. Shh, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Well, Pluto's here now, and it wants to say something. Boy, she's holding on her mouth. She got a vice grip on their lip, and that's normal, honey. Okay, why is it saying that? It's not saying because you're mean. It's just saying it because you're tired of this or this. You're just tired of meeting people at 50%, 51%, 55%, and they're not anywhere near you. You've had it with these people because you're ready to be committed to people, dedicated, and they're not. Period. You're ready to put your money on the line. They're not. Why? Because your damn kitchen's too hot. Now, some people will be left over that can handle the heat. They've been with you a long time. They're going to stay with you. And the other ones you're going to need to get away from because they just can't handle it. True or false?
Well, yeah, except for my daughters and my husband stick with me.
Well, okay. Good. Wonderful. Very good. There's Shelby. Okay. So when it's, see, I could go into this in the next few weeks, but we got so much to do with Pluto changing sign, and every astrologer in the world is writing about this, and they're talking about it being the age of Aquarius, et cetera, et cetera. But this Pluto changing signs is going to activate each of you in a certain house. And in your particular house, it's going to activate your seventh house in a lot of ways, and that's what I'm describing to you with relationships. Also, the seventh house is, what kind of counselor are you? How do you counsel people? Now, if you were a professional counselor right now, like Diane, you would be changing your style right now, getting more serious, becoming more of a direct counselor where I'm not going to mince my words anymore. Scorpio is about, let's just talk the truth right here. 1974, this is funny. 1974, I met a bunch of people that were in an early spiritual group. There weren't that many around at the time. And I was in this group with this young Scorpio male. And I was in there for a little while. And this Scorpio guy, he turned to me and said, "Rick, you ain't doing shit." Whoa, you ain't doing nothing. You ain't never done nothing. I mean, this was intense, and it was somewhat debatable because I thought I had. But you see, when Pluto's ready for you, it gives you the message. And a lot of times it is out of balance, and it is beyond the boundaries. It really is. Because it's all based on whether the Scorpio hates himself or not. So if this Scorpio guy hated himself, then I had to water down what he was saying. If he didn't, then I really was in trouble. So anyhow, I learned from it and I grew from it. So when Pluto's on you, including all 8 billion of us right now, we're all getting the message now. We ain't done shit. That's the message that's coming out. And don't you see that with the newscast? All right. Now, what that means is when you come down to talking to people in the next few years, when you come to people that you've been talking with for a long time, when you come down to people that you've been trying to debate and convince of stuff, you just had it. You just had it. Not that you're fed up with them, but you're seeing clearly that they're going to either own their courage or not. It's that simple. That's what Pluto is. They're going to either, hi Melody, she's somewhere. They're going to either own their courage or not. That's what Pluto's about. That's what's going on in the good old US of A. Because we've had so many institutions blown apart. And we're seeing now it's up to us. What you're going to hear next week on our show with Rick and with Liza is so much about the individual. That's what next week's chart is about. Screaming about it's time for the individual to find their power now. Really powerful chart. So we got to look in your chart and see what held you back. Well, one of the things that held you back is totally understandable. Is that Eris opposite Neptune. You held yourself back because you didn't want to just squash somebody because you got a lot of power. And with Sag in you, you have a lot of ability to speak very bluntly when you want to. I mean, you have to watch Sag. Sag is an energy that can really hurt people, and they always walk around, I didn't mean that, I didn't mean that, I didn't mean that. Well, it's because they just love honesty. So that's another reason that it held you back, in a sense. Now, we need to take a look right away at your past life chart, because we got to see what's causing all this. Okay, in my opinion. So let's take a look at that. Hi, Melody. Okay, from California. We got 3 Californiaites here tonight. All right, let's get into your chart. Now we're going to skip over to your, Sean didn't make it, your 12th harmonic. There it is. Okay, this is your past life chart. In general, this is the chart that I think is how you felt about God through all these lifetimes, how you thought he thought about you, how you felt spiritually, and I don't want to use the word religiously. We see that you've always had a very intense 8th house, which means you've been very interested in the mysteries of life, in what's behind the curtain. That's very Scorpionic. Sages are always interested in religious theory. What's your country's theory? What's my country's theory? You know, what do people think politically? That's very Sagittarian. So put the two together, you've been very interested in a long time with what have countries done with their power. What have they been doing with it? What have they been abusing? In the case of the United States. So you're a good one. You're a good candidate now to get involved in something along those lines. Now we see that the sun is opposite that. We see Uranus is in Leo. So you got 3 strong Leo planets at the top of the chart. And that's indicative that you are pretty confident in how you feel. And if somebody's going to argue with you, they better do their homework. You've done your homework, and she's laughing and giggling, and you're not going to just sit there idly and get walked on. No, it's not going to happen. So what does this chart say? That you better go into a new lifetime in 1944, and you better take on these lessons, or you're not going to make it. What does this chart say? I think the real. And this is not easy. This is where the power of the astrologer comes in. This is very difficult to do. And I really think adding it all up, I got a summation in my mind, is you are really cautious to use your power. This is because following reasons, people abuse their power around you. Your father abuses power. Your colony abuses power. Whatever it is. But in the past life, when you thought about being in front of God, you were embarrassed at what he was thinking about you abusing your power. So this is what we all do. We all take a lifetime thinking that he's mad at us about something, thinking we better go fix this. And now we're finding out he's not mad about anything. And never was. But You have a very strong sensitivity to people or entities abusing their power, period. And what that means is a lot of times the native will turn their power off. It's not the answer. The answer is not for you to turn your power off. Turn your power on, but let's modulate it. Let's keep track of it. Let's help people understand it that are around us. Let's understand other people are not like I am. And let's work with the powerful, because we need some powerful people to fix a lot of problems. What's Scorpio about? What is Scorpio about? Scorpio is about being, what's the word? Being dedicated to how you feel. It's a fixed water sign. You love what you love, you hate what you hate. Step up to the plate. If I love it, give me a big bet and let's go. That's what Scorpio's about.
Committed.
Committed is a good word. It's still not the word I'm looking for, but it's real close. One of the big problems, one of the big problems I have when Scorpios get in trouble, it's almost always because of one thing, and it's because they're over dedicated. They get over dedicated. And they look at that and they think everybody else should be over dedicated. Other people cannot do your thing. They can't do it. That's a big deal. Because you're super dedicated and you will never betray somebody, doesn't mean they feel that way. It's a hard lesson. So I think the turning point that you're going through now is you're unleashing your power, but you're unleashing it with guidance. You're unleashing it with understanding. You're unleashing it with modulation. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Give me your words on it.
Um,
Take your time.
well,
It's just us girls here.
I
This has been
I've done
happening for a
so
long
much.
time. Take your time.
Well, I've been for decades studying what I believed, uh, trying to see everything from all sides, um, being cautious, uh, a lot of rejection.
You've been experiencing a lot of rejection.
Over the last 5 decades. Yeah.
All right, let's keep that on the side burner. We're going to return to that. Go ahead.
Mostly have felt out of place forever.
Okay.
And now that I'm retired and I can do whatever I feel like, I find that I'm not really that interested in going out and trying to rattle cages. I'm
Okay. All
still
right.
waiting.
You're waiting
I'm
for
still
what?
waiting to find out what I'm supposed to do.
Okay, there are a lot of people waiting to find out what they're supposed to do. That's the number one thing astrologers deal with now. It used to be, when's my boyfriend coming? That used to be number one. This is by far number one. What am I supposed to do? When do you think that's going to arrive?
I don't know. Hopefully soon. I'm going to run out the clock.
Do you think it's going to arrive in a bus or in a package or a box?
No. it'll probably come to me in like a shamanic journey or something like that.
You've got Neptune sitting at the bottom of your chart, which means you've got a very powerful conduit built straight to him or her already. Your
Yes.
answer is very simple. Your package is coming in 1 week.
Whoa.
And
Whoa.
I'm not bullshitting you. I'm saying it's on purpose. It may be off a couple days, but your package is here. Your package overran the other guy who was supposed to have tonight's stage. You see how that happened?
Yes.
Your package is here. And when your package is here, it will scare the S out of you because it's here.
I'm
And
sure.
it's a lot harder than when your package ain't here and you're waiting for it.
Yeah.
But the Scorpio part of you is tired of waiting.
Yes, indeed.
I'm emphasizing this on purpose because I'm trying to get to you the sound of these planets. Your Scorpio and your Aries are sick of waiting. You're not going to get any help from your husband or your kids or anybody. You're getting it here on tape. So you can watch it whenever you need to. I don't even need to talk to Rick. Rick is very good. I can see him nodding on the side of the screen. I know that I'm on the right track, or he would be bitching and complaining with me for something. But he knows that I'm right. He's sensing it too. And the big thing is, you know it too. So once again, let's go back to your birth chart. If it would like to cooperate with me, that's a 12th harmonic. Let's go back to the birth chart. All right, there she is. So the big explosion with Pluto has been happening in the 7th house. It's been happening in this area for 3 or 4 years already, and now it's really exploding right here. And if we put Scorpio on the 1st house cusp, then this has been happening to you in your 2nd house. In your 2nd house. Okay, what does that mean? It's the solar 2nd house. So what it means is that this has all been tied to your tightly controlled sense of self-worth. Now, your self-worth ain't got nothing to do with God, marriage, mom, dad. It's all you. You have created your self-worth. And that's the problem with liberation. With liberation comes responsibility. But with your chart is you don't care anymore. That's what's going on in your chart. You don't care anymore. I know I'm fine. I know I'm fine. I don't want to hear what you say anymore. You go deal with your stuff. I don't care. Go deal with it. Good luck. I'll deal with mine. And I think I'm pretty damn good the way I am. And we got giggles going on with Jeannie, and that's a good sign. And my cat's even meowing. So tell us, come on now, don't hold back, Jeannie. Let me know how you're feeling about this.
Very, very well, because a counselor who read my strengths, I don't feel that I need her to tell me.
That's
I think
right.
I know.
That's right. Do you really realize, two-part question, do you really realize how powerful you are?
To some extent, I've been told.
Do people around you realize how powerful you are?
Well, mostly they're put off by my intensity.
No. They're not put off. You're pushing them away. You're scared by their reaction. They're not put off by you. That leads me to what I had written here. You said you've been rejected all these years. Who's been doing the rejecting?
Mostly jobs,
Who's
employers.
Who's been doing the rejecting?
Well, I never fit in. So
Who has been rejecting you and your story and your delivery and your power and your knowledge? Who's been doing the rejecting?
me?
Only one person that can reject you, yourself. Now, I'm not judging you because
No, that's
this
fine.
is hard stuff. But what I'm telling you, when you're a powerhouse, it's hard to walk around school days, school property, be a powerhouse, going to college. It's hard to be a powerhouse without getting cocky or without getting smacked down or without enlisting all the dogma that your parents taught you about being cocky and all that stuff. But that's what's going on now with Eris. It's time to quit caring about it with Eris. Talk to people. I've been on this show 6 years. This last year is nothing like my first 5. I don't care anymore. I just don't care because we're near the edge.
Yeah.
It scares me. In a lot of ways, it scares me. But more than scare is I'm really happy to see finally all these phenomenal spiritual movements that we've been all trying so hard for so long. They're coming to fruition. And yeah, you're going to get the quacks and the wannabes and the egos out on their shingle and all that. You're going to get that stuff. But we need people like you. We need ass-kicking people like you. I'm putting it bluntly. That's what your chart says. Now, I'm telling you right now, there ain't a thing I've said to you tonight that surprises you. Nothing. Second thing I wrote down here is you found that you were out of place. You know why? Because you were. You were out of place. Because to be in place, you had to push yourself down even more and behave and don't say
That's true.
and use your number 2 pencil, right?
That's
and that's
true.
not your nature. We've seen your nature is. I once went through a thing called rebirthing in Boston with 2 young ladies. This was in 1975. And this was a trend going around the country. Rebirthing was you would have a couple people with you. You would lay on a bed or a table, and you would just do this heavy breathing. I mean, really like heavy breathing, and it's really not advised that you do that. And all of a sudden I sat up and my top chakra just blew high. It just exploded. And I could see colors like fireworks pouring out of my fingertips. And I could feel the top of my head was warm. This was only one time in my life. That's exactly what you got all the time. My top chakra blew up because of either Reiki work or whatever, opening that lotus at the top, whatever it was, because I'm not made for that. But you've got it, and you have had to keep a grip on it because yours is so powerful sitting there. But how do you live with it, with a grip on it? You can't. So you have to get to a place where you're kind of, you got to get to where you're letting it out. Hold it, let it out. I don't know what else to tell you. And what I do know with things like this is no happenstance. This reading by Rick tonight is indicative that you're going to fall in line with some teacher who's going to help you deal with this. You can no longer put the screw on and push it down. That will kill you. You can't do it. You can't do it. You got to let it out. And in letting it out, you're going to become freer, stronger. And I remember riding the train back from Philadelphia after that weekend, and the grass was greener and the sky was bluer and everything was thingier. Everything was just because I'd blown out the top chakra. Probably wasn't healthy. But that's what that was called. It was called rebirthing at the time. That's what it.
I remember about that.
Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, but anyhow, So you are in within 1 week of being really rebirthed. I don't know how you're going to do this. I don't know how you're going to unscrew the cap. I don't know how you're going to keep a release valve there when you need it off and on. You do need it off and on. I don't know how to do that. I'm not qualified for it. An energy worker perhaps is, a psychic perhaps is, a psychologist perhaps is. I'm not. I'm just describing to you the shoots that are coming up through. Because that's what I am, and I realized in the last couple of months. I'm a shoot analyzer. Shoots are coming through you. They're coming up through you. Uranus, Saturn, Pluto. They're powerful energy coming through you. And these have been coming a long time, and you've been doing your best to push them back down. And in
Yes.
a lot of ways, you had to, but not anymore. Because what comes with pushing them back down is a lack of faith.
It's true.
And I'm not getting on you. I'm getting on all 8 billion of us, or 7 billion.
Yeah.
7 billion of us. This stuff's coming through. Like it or not, it's coming through. And that's what this is all about. That's what's driven us close to the edge. That's why we're close to the edge, because we don't have any spiritual guidance. As a whole, we got this, I believe in Jesus and he died for my sins. Oh, come on. I mean, Jesus did a lot of great things, but let's put him in perspective. Let's hear what he really said. I belong to the right club. Do you belong to the right club? So I'm going to stop right here. I'm in no hurry, but I want to know how you're feeling about what you've heard.
Liberated.
Second question. Do you think it's been me talking to you?
No, you've just clarified everything that has been whirling around.
Yeah, but you just started that sentence with you. Do you think it was me talking to you?
Well, you as spirit,
Exactly.
from the spirits. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's what I meant.
Yes, ma'am, but I wanted to clarify that word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand it, and I don't have any
You're a
reservations.
conduit.
Yeah, like we all are, and I don't have any
Yeah.
reservations with spirit that everybody else doesn't. But this is the real deal. This is the real deal. This is the real thing. Now, I want to look at a couple other things in your chart because it's very tempting. The sixth harmonic, I'm going to get rid of this guy here because it's way too late. And maybe he'll show up next week. Okay, here's the sixth harmonic. Harmonics are nothing but derivatives of the birth chart. They're like twisting a lens a little bit, looking in on certain parts of you. The sixth harmonic is your destiny chart. This shows me what your energy is like when it's best used, what your destiny is like, your soul's purpose, life direction you were talking about earlier. And I spend a lot of time focusing on what sign is at the top. And you got Scorpio at the top, and you got Neptune at the bottom. Okay, let's talk about what that means. I'm not in the mood to take it easy. I'm not in the mood to take it lightly. Your chart is here to change people, transform people spiritually. That's why you're here. Now, you will hear one of the top secrets from being an astrologer, and I'm sure Rick sees this, and I'm sure Diane sees this too. One of the tricks to people is when they tell you, I want to help other people. Well, when they tell you what they want to help that other person do, is what they're really telling you is I want to help myself do that. Your chart is having, I want to be a powerful impact on other people. I want to make them stronger spiritually because you understand what it's like to be strong emotionally. You have the ability. Other signs don't have it. We don't have it. We waver. I don't know, maybe. Not Scorpio. Do you like that painting? Hell no. You like that painting? Oh, I love it. That's what a Scorpio tells you. I got the habit. Passionate, yes and no. And when you see other people that are wavering or relatively weak emotionally compared to you, that's where your strength comes in. So we now know your purpose. And that purpose, if that purpose had been clearer early on, you wouldn't have felt left out and you wouldn't have been criticized. Being left out and criticized was only because you were just straining to be counted, straining to be one of us, and it's understandable. It's understandable, but not now. What do people say to you now that's going on with you? Because astrology is what the hell got into her? What's gotten into her lately? What are people saying about you?
Well, the closest people to me have said I'm on the edge of becoming more
More what?
of myself.
And let's hear it's a round of applause. You're damn right. You're damn right. You're damn right. And what does that mean for the rest of us? My girls are over here laughing. Enjoy. I mean, it means the rest of us are going to get stronger. We all get stronger as you get stronger. Quit worrying about stepping on ants. You're not going to do it. You have gone this long and you haven't done it. You're not going to do it. You've got compassion. That's the strong Neptune. Quit worrying about it. And that's why you took this lifetime. You were scared to death to keep shoving that monster back under the bed. And there was never a monster there. There was just all that passion. So it all comes out in the wash. It all comes out when you get to a point like this. This is a very good sign astrologically. I looked ahead in your chart the next couple of years, and I just saw the same kind of theme. This theme of getting better at modulating. Because with this, you got to let it out now and then. This means go bowling, go swimming, go running, something. You need a physical release with this. You do. You cannot sit back and read books and stuff. This needs a physical release through badminton, through volleyball, through something. You need a physical release, especially with 4 Sag planets. Okay? What's the smile for?
I definitely need a physical release.
Yes.
After the pandemic, I just sort of stopped, and my dog died, and I just stopped doing everything. And I've been sitting and I've been reading.
Yeah, but you cannot do your Sag will read forever, and that's wonderful. You need a physical release because that energy actually needs a physical, muscular release through the body. It really does. Now, that's cool, and you're not going to turn off. You got a nice chart. You're not going to turn off the Scorpio. You got a nice chart with Scorpio and a Sag. You got a nice reason to have a nice balance there. But you got to get on with your purpose. What do you want to do with people? What do you want to do with people?
Encourage
That's
Encourage
the
them.
Sagittarian. The Sagittarian is the cheerleader. That's exactly right. Encourage them to do what?
Be themselves and do what they want to do.
I'm done with you. you've gone full circle unless you have other questions. And almost all my readings always go 40, 70 minutes, and we're at the 70th minute. Is about. And I'm not giving up on you. To tell you more is to lambaste you with too much stuff, and you'll have the tape here to watch over and over. But the tape should show you, and the reading should show you that you have gotten to a place that you always knew you were getting to. And all these years you've been waiting for that package. You didn't know it would come through this program a week from now. And it's coming. It's coming. Now, for all of you, next week we're going to talk a lot about it. You're going to hear a lot about it in the news. You're going to hear quack astrologers on the news talking about the age of Aquarius is here. Okay, all this stuff. Next week, you're going to feel this energy. It's next Thursday morning, and this energy is going to feel like I've actually walked through the house. I remember one day walking through the house and feel like somebody shoved me. I remember it was in a certain eclipse, Ritchieville, and I felt like I got shoved. I had to regain my balance. So these energies are very real. They're greatly misunderstood because we're dollar bill, bottom line kind of society. And these energies are coursing through you because you're part of it all. And what happened to you tonight is you got connected to your real self, got connected to the collective. And if that's unpleasant, okay, but it's really what you've been wanting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's scary stuff. It's scary stuff. But you can always come back here because we're a group of a bunch of fools that we kind of hide in the weeds together. You know, we talk about this all the time, and I'm real glad that you were able to get through with your birth time, with your reading. There's so much more to your chart. There really is, but the main thing is you're coming to life. Your power is arriving. It is here. And as you start to adjust this, it's going to be healthier for you. You're gonna feel more intuitively, I need to let off some steam. And then you're gonna also feel you got to shut it back up. Now, I'm not good with the crown chakra. There are energy workers that are excellent that I suggest you find and work with, because this is not a toy. The crown chakra is a big deal. It's where God enters your body. Did you have your hand raised, Claudia? I thought
No.
Okay.
No.
Jeannie, I had a friend of mine 20 years ago who's a wonderful Reiki specialist. And I got so tired of hearing Reiki, Reiki, Reiki. I'm a Reiki master. You know, and I had a headache one day and I went to see him, and he's really good, the real deal. And I asked him to help me with my headache. And he put me in a chair and he took his hands down by my feet and he took his hands up by my head. He touched me a little bit here and there for about 15 minutes, and that was it. And I left. And when I got in my car, I drove away. This was in Pittsburgh. And when I got in the car and drove away, all of a sudden I saw God. I didn't see him with my eyes like a guy standing there. I just, all of a sudden, he had opened my crown chakra is what it did. Wow. And for the next 3 days, I just saw with a vision, and it was interesting to me. It wasn't like God was looking through me. It was like a big Rick was looking through me. And the little Rick was over here watching all this thing. That's what this is, man. You know, this is what this is. Because from all the reading, he knew how to label it. He knew. But the big me was like a big self. It was like a big Rick that we call the higher self. And the grass was greener and the kids were kidsier and everything was just beautiful. It really was. And I told my girlfriend at the time, remember what I'm saying to you, because I know this is going to get full of weeds. And again, this conduit's going to get full of dirt and obstacles. But remember what I'm saying, because I know I'm gonna forget it. 3 days later, it got foggier, and I did in fact forget it. But there's another example of the same thing being manipulated in another way. And I'm sure Reiki masters know much more about it, and psychics know more about it. So you're going to need, I think, a healthy connection with an energy worker. And they're out there. They're out there. Don't get a kook. They're out there. You need somebody to help you modulate it. Because what you've been doing so far, you've been living dangerously. Because you've been living by, let's push it down and hope nothing blows. This is where aneurysms come from, strokes, etc.
Yeah.
This is where they come from. This is where they come from. Now, I don't think you need to worry about it, because I think you got your heads up, no pun intended. You got your heads up tonight by becoming aware of it. I would like to stop for a minute and ask my friend Rick to add his 2 cents, because Rick is a very fine astrologer. He has his head on right with the planets, and I would like to get his opinion about what he saw with your chart. Would that be okay, Rick?
Sure. One thing I noticed is that one of the ways you have negotiated the power in communicating is with your humor.
Yeah.
That Moon Mercury conjunction in Sag
Right.
will lighten the mood.
Yep.
And deliver hard things sometimes, or break the tension. The other thing I notice is that heavy Virgo and Jupiter, you have a really great grasp of systems analysis.
Explain.
We're still in the harmonic there.
I'm getting you back now. Here's
Yeah.
Here's the natal.
Yeah. There's a lot of awareness that you have. And with that 5th house, when you talk about wanting to help people find their voice, that is connected to the drama of their story. The
Right.
5th house, connected to Leo,
Right.
is about the drama. How does the individual emerge and individuate? And you're helping people find their voice and connect to their soul through that. With the 6th harmonic, you saw the Scorpio at the top. But you're anchored in your spirituality with that Neptune in your psyche. You spiritually see with a lot of clarity. I think too, there's going to be some interesting things that'll come up with Chiron right now, as Pluto is connecting with that Chiron, and you've been getting more intense preparation for this transition.
Chiron is right here.
But that natal Chiron has been getting triggered by that slow-moving Pluto.
Right.
And I would suggest, since you already mentioned shamanic work, review your old journal work and look at journaling for this next week. And with that crown, you might even try a little bit of frankincense oil or incense to help you open that up. And for a physical release, you might consider some yoga. But Uranus up there in that opposition is really giving you this compassion for humanity to find their uniqueness, find their story, because it has its exaltation in Leo, right? So there is a story in every soul, and you have felt, as Rick said, pushed down so often for lifetimes that you're affirming people, get out of your shell.
Yeah, it's not your fault that you've been in societies where people couldn't keep up with you. They just can't.
I also think the Eris is at the top of the chart, is
Oh,
where the energy feels like it'll run away with you.
yes. And you got a bucket pattern. All your planets are like a letter C with Eris by itself. And that makes that Eris even more strong. So all the more reason to read that book. That book is called Discovering Eris. If you can't handle the first half, it's very strong mythology. But the second half is very strong with the planets. But the guy is really good. And he wrote it in the first 12 years after Eris's discovery in 2005. And it's a really, really good. And if you don't know Eris's story, she was a goddess. She was the sister of Mars, his sister, and she was excluded from a party. And so when she got mad when she wasn't invited to the party, she took a golden apple. Somehow she engraved on it, who is the most beautiful of all of us. And she threw it through the window and bashed the window and disrupted the party. So that's her story mythologically, that she'll do whatever she's got to do. So with that at the top of your chart, you can look at anything you want to. You can look at it upside down. There ain't nothing in your chart stronger than that. And that means that we're going to do what we have to do. We don't have to be mean about it, but by God, we're going to get it done. That's what that means. Look at those smiles. I love those smiles that come out of those smiles are all going by. Psh, I told you. I told you. Well, it's good to get validated because where else are you going to get this? Where else are you going to get it? You know, you're not going to get it with a normal astrologer. You're not going to get it in a monthly news or Cosmo magazine with your sexology report. Okay, everybody, I want to wrap it up tonight. You've been a real sport. I really enjoyed reading for you. I really appreciate your flexibility coming in like that. It's been a terrific reading. You're welcome to join us any Thursday. We're always here. I will have this video put on YouTube in the next 2 hours. You'll be able to see it under my name. And this is session 310. So
Okay.
episode 310, in case you want to go back to it, it'll be on in a couple hours. We're all very happy for you. This has been the real deal. And that's the good stuff. This has been the real deal, you know, and thank Rick a lot for chipping in with his vision. He's really pretty spectacular. So Jeannie, where'd she go?
I'm here.
Where'd she go? Oh, I couldn't see on my screen. There she is. Okay. Thank you very much. And thanks everybody for your patience. Next week, me and the Liza and the Rick are going to be talking about the Aquarian age, Pluto going into Aquarius. We're going to be talking about the chart of next week, which has 6 planets in Aries. It's just a powerful chart, which is calculated for the moment that Pluto goes into Aquarius. And that chart is unbelievable. It's going to take 3 of us at least to try to interpret it. So, see y'all then.
Thank you so much.
Night.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Dr. Becky.
Thank you, Dr. Becky. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night,
Thank
all.
you.